I'm well rested. Had a good little yoga session. Could have been hotter. I'm gonna have to let the instructor know that I didn't quite feel the boiler room last night. um, but her work is always solid. So and she usually prefers the heat like that. So it's perhaps a standard at the company. Maybe it's gas prices. I don't know. So I've been finding my feelings about things very, very interesting, understanding a number of things, right? You're largely looking at these people at the top of the world, right? You're looking at these wealthy and powerful people who have the perspective, are crossed over on the perception of reality, and playing like we all know the same fucking reality game playbook here, right? You know, which is why you've got the unnecessary lie of nuclear weapons, right? I really hate that lie. You didn't have to lie about that at all. I would have backed it on the merits of saving the lives of fucking people who didn't deserve it. If we're not gonna say this is about oil, then just say it's about saving lives. The American people believe in that. We fucking do. Because if you're gonna just fucking do it anyway, you don't have to fucking lie to me. Don't fucking project nonsense into the fucking future. That's the only thing I fucking ask. I'm the only guy saying that, by the way. I'm the only guy saying that, no, you should have invaded Iran on the merit of people suffering. On such an obvious level. You know, it's just, but we're not allowed to have this kind of a moral complaint anymore. I don't understand, right? We aren't allowed to show empathy for non-Shiite Muslim Iranians, right? And they've got like what would you have preferred? Would you have preferred, because allegedly you would hope they'd have a revolution, that our CIA infiltrate their back door with illegal gun operations? That's kind of how we got Al Qaeda. So no. You do things where you have control of the situation. If you hadn't noticed, there's a lot more control in the Middle East. Like, you hear maybe once in a blue moon some murmur of terrorist stirrings, and then nothing comes of it. Like, and half the time it's because there's no conditions of interest, right? You know, we are coming into generations in the places of the terrorist world that are not going to be the terrorist world anymore. It doesn't make rational sense in their mind anymore, right? You know, like, even if they feel like, oh, they got to fight America, or oh, they got to fight, right? It's not going to come from that position. And we just don't fully see that yet because we're still in the midst of the end of it. And so we don't quite understand that we're at the end of it, right? It's like we've been bugging so fucking long about the neocons project for a new American century that we've lost sight of the world as it actually was before they established this agenda. Because there was no doubt things needed to change. Its ominousness was in the manner in which it wasn't being forthright with you about everything going on in the backdrop, the context of whatever. There's always the in of the claims of the intelligence agencies, right? You know, oh man, they're gonna weapons. Oh, the intelligence agencies, and nobody's gonna ask because it's like, well, I can't ask him to produce proof from the intelligence agencies. They never do that. He just told you a thing that the intelligence agencies told him. Now you fucking person's just like, well, Mr. President, now that you've bothered to say the intelligence agencies have said this, produce the documents. You have to produce one document to go with your fucking Vorpal tongue. I need to know which side of the fucking snake I'm talking to today. Show your fangs, bitch. Because let's not fucking pretend you aren't a snake. But no, our press is incompetent fools. Which is why we don't know why we're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, because, you know, we don't realize we're supposed to be talking about Ghislaine Maxwell's boss. So, Donald Trump is a intelligence test. And you're failing it. And it's so insulting that you're calling him an idiot. You can't tell that he's just fucking playing around. He's playing around because, unfortunately, the only Trump you are usually seeing is the Trump in discourse with people that have set up things a certain way. And he's willing to play along with them. And we don't understand fully why. And maybe it's because one of them has a fucking intern in the Mossad hanging out in the studio for no apparent reason, and everybody likes him so much they forgot to check him today. That's why. Right? Let's not pretend that the Secret Service is perfect up here. I'm not just talking about like, oh, there was a fatal flaw in their plan. I'm talking about they're probably not always sharp every fucking second of the day. You know, they might be a little off. Could be a product of having trouble finding the best of the best. Who is your most dignified people if your nation's lost all its encouragement, all of its trust and such. And thus why MAGA is forced to lean on fundamentalists. Because that's all they got. But it's not the fundamentalist who they have to sell the war to. So instead of just being like, it's unholy what they're doing to the people in Iran and the horrible threat they are to the good people of Israel, let's just go after them and fucking get this over with. Right? So that's where things are at. Sure. Hi, whoever you peoples are. Anyway. I got work in a few minutes, and I'm gonna go chillax before that happens.